Hey guys, coldbrew here. Welcome back to another video. I know what you're thinking, right? I have the same thoughts as you guys. The fusion of Titus has finished. We all have now Titus. I think the majority of players went for Titus. The hype is real. He's doing insane amounts of damage on the clan bosses. Demon Lord, Hydra, Chimera. He's the new shield champion, right? He's the new cadaver. Is it going to stay like that? That's what I'm going to cover in this video. So as you guys see, the teams are starting to pop up. This new champion is being tested, right? You need your shield growing champion. Wixwell works great for this one. I've tried teams with Brogni and Wixwell on the same team. And that is the goal of the players right now, right? Trying to find the mix of champions together to make it also auto-friendly, to make these new teams possible, to do the Hydra, do insane amounts of damage. Look at this. Look at this OBV Hope. They've got this guy here who did 55 billion points with a 13.67 billion on Nightmare. 55 billion clash points for his clan. This is obviously not an auto team. You gotta use the combo of Yumiko and getting those resets on Yumiko for the most part. And then you also have Hatter, who plays a huge role here, not only for the Hex, also he extended the duration of buffs, Wixwell obviously, and then Titus, without a blessing, doing insane 11.275 billion damage, right? You are running Merciless plus Zeal on him, works great for his damage boosting. Yumiko is the reset champion. Lamasu works for resetting Yumiko. Obviously, very unique way to do that. Only Yumiko can be reset. You can use, obviously, double Yumiko if you want to, but honestly, I haven't tried that myself. There's also Hatter, and there's also Wixwell in this team. Lamasu can possibly also reset Wixwell if you want to just directly do that. And then Gerptok provides just a general damage boost to the team and also a block buffs debuff. You also get block buffs from Lamasu, I believe, and a decreased attack, so that's cool. And the team does insane amounts of damage, right? So what am I going on about, right? You see this also in Chimera. So that is where I think the problem is going to come up. And I think Plarium, although they said it multiple times so far that they're not going to nerf this champion, I feel like they might be inclined to tune something on the Chimera, not Titus himself, because Titus is now competing basically with the Trunda teams, and Trunda teams, I believe, do more points, could do more points. Although with optimization and a higher blessing, I think Titus can eventually do more than Trundas. So we'll see about that. Yeah. There's a high chance for Hydra, they don't care. But for Chimera, I believe they might change some of the mechanics, especially in one of the encounters, in one of the forms that the Chimera changes, to make it so that he is in a risk of dying. So the Chimera clash, you see guys, the two clans right now, they did like 28 keys, and top team here, 80 billion points on his own. He did like 2/3 of his clan's points. He did 2 Titus teams, obviously, and look at this, 3.6 billion damage, but only 7 trials. So trials play a huge part in what teams we decide to run. Like I try to run high trial teams in order to get more relics. The chances of getting a relic though are so low, where some players, I believe, just kind of got sick of it and bored of it, right? Trying to run those crazy teams to do 20 trials. I believe the maximum is 22 trials right now, but you can get some teams doing 12 relatively easy, and then higher than that you need specific champions with specific roles and even some mythicals, right? So Titus teams are insane here because of the sheer amount of points. I don't think we'll reach a point where everybody will be running Titus teams, but it feels like we'll be forced, because the top three for Chimera gives you these chests. These chests gives you some nice rewards, mythical gemstones also, and it's a big part for clans. So we might see some shifting of players around, the players who don't have these champion players, who have the champions and want to go to a higher clan. We'll probably see that happened with the Hydra as well. But is a nerf coming? I don't think it's coming, guys. I don't think they're going to do anything for the Hydra. I think they're going to leave it as it is. Since we have the auto for Hydra, the quick battles, it's basically a solved encounter in my head. They don't care so much about it. They're like, how much damage you're doing. You could be doing 200 billion damage. They don't really care anymore, I would say. But for Chimera, this is their baby, their new baby, right? It's been 6 months since Chimera is up, I believe. And it's not been, solved yet. You can't do the highest damage plus the highest trials just yet. So they've not added it to the Great Hall bonuses, the Live Arena bonuses, the area bonuses. They've not added Chimera for a reason there. They don't want to see just making this newest, most difficult part of the game as being the one where you trivialize it. Well, wouldn't say trivialize, but make it much easier with more ignore defense, more speed, more crit damage, and then you add resistance, you add accuracy, so the boss doesn't do much to you, especially with the more higher end teams. It's easier now to reach those high resistances, and with the relics and the better glyphs now, everything, it just adds up together to make it a little bit easier than it was before. You still need really good teams for this. But what I think Plarium is going to do is specifically change at least, I would say, they're going to change at least one part of this. So for when the Chimera is, when you're fighting the Chimera, right? Let's just try to go into battle. We'll see the boss guide here. It's easier to see it. I think what they might change is how the bosses do damage on you when you've got a shield. So they're going to add something that you will have the boss ignore the shields so that they do way more damage. And a way that it can be a little bit tricky for you to survive in the Chimera now, maybe you're trying to build a Titus team. In the Lion form can place the Hunter's Gaze on the target. It usually places, I believe, the highest defense. And what Hunter's Gaze does, it ignores shield. So what they might do is they'll have this as an AoE debuff and then have it attack just basically all champions when they've got Hunter's Gaze debuff, since they're gonna be resisted or blocked, and have you basically require something like a decrease attack on the boss, or have some other sort of damage mitigation, maybe an ally protecting the team, in order to get you to survive. But I'm just giving you guys my thoughts. I don't know anything about this. The Hunter's Gaze could be something that they do in order to stop the Titus teams and make these insane numbers impossible. So I think what they want from Chimera is you utilizing your champions for the most amount of trials, and with that way you get the most amount of points, and not having teams doing what these guys are doing. So 7 trials and then 5 trials, which doesn't really make sense. All right. It does make sense in the sense of very limited kits here, so you can't go through the different trials. But what I think Plarium is gonna do is try to nerf Titus, but not directly. So not change his kit, so not affect him anywhere else, like the clan boss. Lots of clan boss teams are popping up now, where Titus will be strong there and just help players get their alternate merit chests. That's nice, cool, whatever. Hydra, pretty much the same thing. He's gonna be competing with the Trunda teams. Whoever has Trunda doesn't really care about building a Titus team, and he does okay, and he wants to do those manual runs. He won't choose Titus. If he wants to do auto runs and there's a Titus team, he might do that instead. So that's what I'm probably gonna build towards. And I have that in my head right now. Like, I have a small Hydra team that I'm working on, trying to make this as auto friendly as possible. Some quick battles I've done, reaching like 800 million is not enough for me to consider using this team for Nightmare, because you can do it with end game champions, like multiple different champions. You can get like 800 million pretty okay-ish. So with Titus, with a proper Titus team, you should be looking for north of 1 billion, right? And with that, guys, I think Titus is safe for now until Plarium starts to think of what they're gonna do. What is gonna happen in the short term? You are guaranteed to see, guys, not the soul merchant, but what the prism shards, or whatever they call them for souls. These, they're gonna do prism jewels with Titus soul in there. 100% guarantee it. If they don't do that, I know nothing of Plarium. It's gonna be a new Plarium. They have new developers in there or something. If they don't do prism jewels with Titus in there, I guarantee you guys are gonna do it, and I guarantee in the next 3 to 6 months you will see a Titus 15x progressive. So you get the +4 on Titus, so you get higher crit damage and higher defense on Titus, because it's not about his health, it's more about his defense and crit damage for his damage numbers to boost up. They've done that with Chanda, so that's why I'm saying they're gonna do this. I'm 100% sure they're gonna do it, guys, because the 5-star soul, only a few players got it because it was one reward from the champion chase tournament. It was one reward from 100 or 200, I believe, players, and they want to get more players to go for the soul and get the higher damage through for Titus. So this is my Titus, the one I've been building, guys. Nothing too crazy so far. It's like 300 crit damage with 500 resistance. Resistance is as important as your damage, guys, because resistance, if your shield gets stolen, the run is done. And Hydra is more difficult to do the Titus, because Hydra can devour one of your champions, and it's a 1 out of 6 chance when you go for a Hydra run. So it's really, it really is not an auto-friendly kind of setup. And if Titus gets eaten, basically the run is done. So it's very RNG. I kind of like it that there's RNG for the Hydra, but for Chimera, I think small changes are coming, maybe not directly to Titus, as I said, but maybe to the Chimera, so that it can actually nerf Titus. But could all be, you know, my thoughts, my random thoughts, right? Thank you guys for watching. Share your thoughts below. Share your teams. If you're running Titus, I want to see what your thoughts are on how easy it is to make teams so far, in terms of maybe like a more late game account, trying to get into the end game, maybe a medium term account, just finding 0 teams with Titus. Let me know, guys, and I'll see what we can do. Maybe build some new teams. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.